Hello, everybody. We are live. So excited. We have Dr. Natasha Fallahi joining us and just waiting for her to jump on. Feel free to just type in the comments any questions that you have for her while we're chatting. And we'll get started as soon as she comes on. She is an incredible resource for those in the thyroid community, and I'm so excited to chat with her. So let's get her on.
Hello.
Hello.
How are
Hi.
you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Sorry, I'm just getting my camera set up
No,
here.
you're great. Your
How's your
hair looks
week been?
great.
Thanks, you too.
Week's been good. How about you?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Kind of busy. I know you take Wednesday off, so it's kind of like you're coming back from the weekend here.
Yeah, like my little mini vacay.
Yeah,
He's great. I'm all about him.
that sounds lovely.
It's pretty great. I really do recommend like everybody take every Wednesday off. It's like middle of the week. It just helps to break up the days. It's nice.
Yeah, it's like a mini weekend in the middle of the week.
Exactly. Well, I'm so excited to have you. I don't think my community's had a chance to actually meet you yet, and I know I like talk about you all the time on stories and everything and on like our posts, and I was like, I think it makes sense to have you on here so that way they can get a chance to get to know you
Yeah,
in the way
definitely. I
that I
know
have.
we've
So,
gone live a couple times, but I think we usually do
yeah,
it on other platforms. So
exactly. So,
nice to meet all of Neeyaz's followers here in Unspoken Nutrition community.
they're lovely. They'll love you. So, why don't you kind of start to tell us a little bit about your healing journey, your journey with Hashimoto's, which I know that you've been diagnosed with in the past, and kind of how that inspired you to do the work that you do today.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of always say like I never planned to do the work that I do now, and I never planned to be a doctor. That was not my plan. I was like in the art world, in the art field. But it was so I did find out that I had Hashimoto's probably about a decade ago, and I actually found it on myself. So I was studying to be a doctor, and I was learning about functional medicine, and I was learning about thyroid health and all of that. And I didn't know much about it before then, and we learned about the lab tests and like really comprehensive thyroid assessments.
Yeah.
So all of that was pretty new to me, and for the most part, I had already gone through my healing and I had
Mm-hmm.
overcome my own health struggles. So I thought, well, let me, run these tests on myself as like a pretty healthy person and see how that compares to some of these case studies that we're looking at.
Right.
And I ran the blood work on myself, and it came back with the thyroid antibodies just through the roof. And
Oh my God.
I had no, like, I had just learned about thyroid antibodies, so this was like incredibly shocking, but I also feel really blessed to have learned this information and gotten that test done so early in
Yeah.
my healing process. So, hi, Chris. Nice to see you here. And so, yeah, it was kind of like accidental that I got into this whole world of like thyroid health and particularly
Mm.
Hashimoto's and autoimmune healing. But long story short, I have a long story that I tell on a lot of different platforms and on my YouTube channel and all that. But basically, it just kind of, are you there? I'm seeing a
Yeah.
little swirly sign on
Yeah.
your.
I saw it on you for a second and then it disappeared. I can still
So
hear you. I figured it was fine.
so I mean, yeah, with my Hashimoto's journey, it was kind of just like I had no idea what it was.
Mm.
But when I look back on it now, I realize I was suffering from like autoimmune and Hashimoto symptoms since as long as I can remember, like maybe childhood, maybe my teens, all of that. Because I always had digestive issues.
Mm.
I was always kind of like, I considered myself to just be like an anxious, depressed person. But I realize now that that was just like effects of like mismanaged autoimmunity and mismanaged
Totally.
Hashimoto's, because I
Wow.
don't actually have anxiety or depression now that I've found the root cause and I've addressed it.
Right.
So it's just one of those things that was
Mm.
affecting me my whole life. And then I it was very much later, in my like early 20s, that I realized that it was related to thyroid health. It was related to autoimmune, and Hashimoto's. So yeah, just like chronic fatigue, just being kind of like one of those tired, kind of irritable, like, you know, to myself, introverted people. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how it happened. And then when, as I was learning all these things to heal myself, and also I ran the blood work on my mom and found out she had Hashimoto's too.
Oh, wow.
She had been, like, her doctors had treated her as hypothyroid for, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 years.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
Never tested for Hashimoto's or Graves or anything. They just ran TSH and gave
Yeah.
her Synthroid. And so when I got my results back, I was like, wait a minute, let me run these on my mom. And hers, I mean, was probably some of the highest levels of Hashimoto's antibodies I've
Wow.
ever seen on a person.
Wow.
So yeah, we kind of went into that together, and I was like trying to find
Oh,
answers to heal myself and also to help my mom. And it
yeah.
came with like all the natural things that I do now. So like
Hmm.
diet, lifestyle, removing all the toxins from my home, from my self-care products.
Totally.
But mostly the thing that helped me the most, which is what we connect on too, is
Yes.
the mind body stuff. So like
Yep.
the body work, the energy medicine, the mindset work, that has been some of the most powerful things to help
Mm,
reverse myself and my mom's, and well, a lot of my patients and clients, like that's been
your
a big
condition.
key for their healing.
It's really interesting how you were becoming a doctor for chiropractic, and
Yeah.
it happened to be the thing that actually healed you the most. So it made the
Yeah.
biggest impact on you.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I didn't know how connected it was to like my immune healing and my autoimmune healing, but it was,
Yeah.
when I was really sick and like rock bottom, like my late teens, early 20s, when I was in college, it was just like my hair was falling out in chunks and my skin was terrible. And I just didn't have, I had no energy. It was like chronic fatigue and
Right.
depression and anxiety to the point that it was debilitating. I dropped out of school, moved
Yeah.
back in, and like lived on my parents' couch. And so, I mean, really, it was kind of like most people's stories. Is I tried to go to all these different doctors, and they all told me that
Mm-hmm.
I was making it up. It was in my head. I should take some drugs or antidepressants to kind of like go about my life. And I
Yeah.
just kept looking for answers, and that's what led me to my first chiropractor's office. And she was a really holistic chiropractor. She looked at like my physical
Wow.
body and how my posture is impacting like the pain signaling and the inflammation and the experience I'm having in my body, which is then impacting the biochemistry, the foods I'm putting in, all of that, how it's all
Mm.
connected. And also like the emotional side of things and how my energy was imbalanced in my body. So
Wow.
um, so she didn't like put a diagnosis on me. We didn't run like diagnosis lab testing, but we did like x-rays, and she just kind of was like, wow, you're not functioning at your full potential. So we started doing the work and the treatments. She started adjusting me. We started talking about whole food diets, and
Mm-hmm.
I started working with a psychotherapist who did energy work. She did like talk therapy and energy work. Anyways, through that whole process from like my like early 20s for the next 5 or so years, it was just like all just healing for me. I didn't have a label. I didn't have a diagnosis. I just
Right.
kept getting better. And
Wow.
and I was like, wow, I don't know what was wrong with me, but everyone was like trying to just put me on some meds,
Mm-hmm.
and the chiropractic and the energy work, and it just changed my life. So that's why I went
Yeah.
to go study and get my doctorate in chiropractic.
Wow. That's
I
amazing.
thought I was healed, but then it was like, then I ran the blood work on myself, and I was like, oh, it was autoimmunity, it was Hashimoto's. That
Wow.
explains all those symptoms I was experiencing, even though I
Yep.
didn't have a label for it. So
Exactly.
yeah, it was kind of like a backwards entry into that world, because most people get their diagnosis first,
Right.
and they go, you know, somehow, or they suspect it and they go get the test first. I actually was getting the mind body treatments first. It was
Right.
reversing the progression. It was reversing my like terrible experience. I started feeling wonderful and vital in my body, and so it was later that I found out it was all of that was because of Hashimoto's and
Which I
autoimmunity.
love because your story is so unique in that everyone else's story that I hear, it's like, I got diagnosed and then this, and this. But yours is like, well, I did all of this and then I got diagnosed.
Well, a big part of it was I just intuitively knew there was something off in
Right.
my body. I knew there was something.
Yeah.
that wasn't right. And I guess, you know, we go searching for a diagnosis. I was like, I didn't know because I was a
Yeah.
teenager at the time. I was kind of like really introspective, so I would just like think about it a lot, and then I'd be like,
Yeah.
is it cancer, is it like this or that, because I didn't know much
Totally.
about physiology. I was just like thinking about worst case scenarios of like
Mm-hmm.
what could I have that could be explaining me feeling so terrible.
Yeah.
And I just kept going to doctors and they kept saying, oh, you're fine, you're young, look at you, like go enjoy your life. And I was like, no,
No.
I feel like something's really off.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think, you know, that kind of plays into the story of like how I came up with the Canary project.
Yeah. Tell us about that. I love it.
Um, so
Obviously.
yeah, so yeah, we're also, so you and I are collaborating now on this
Yes.
project.
Yes.
Um, and it's, you know, I was really excited to find you and meet you. I mean, even though we've only met online.
I know
Um,
it's so crazy. I to this day tell myself that. I'm like, I've never met her and it blows my mind that we've only met online.
I
Like
know.
how
I
awesome.
mean, I've
How
had
awesome.
several of those kind of experiences because I'm so introverted that I'm just like, this is just as good. Like, I'll find really cool people online and like
Totally.
befriend them. And we end up like, you know, I do end up becoming like real life friends with people
A
too.
100%.
But it feels like that. Like I'm kind of like,
Yeah.
and when I think about it, I'm like, wow, I actually have never physically met you in person,
I
which
know
feels
it's
weird.
crazy. But like we've already like planned, like I'm gonna come up and visit you and we're gonna like
Yeah.
hang out.
We're gonna like visit each other's parents' gardens. And
Yes, exactly.
so anyway, yes, we found
So the
each
canary.
other online, and I was really excited because I felt like a lot of the philosophies and kind
Hmm.
of even just approaches the healing, like the modalities and therapies were really
Yeah.
aligned in terms of how we've both kind of found our own way to healing.
Hmm.
In particular, I mean, obviously, there's like the food and lifestyle stuff, which I think a lot of people have found. Those are incredibly helpful and instrumental, but I think
Absolutely.
I haven't met a lot of people who really love that stuff and do it, but then also dive really deep into the body work and the energy medicine. And I think even, you know, when I met you from the beginning, you were like, oh, I love my chiropractor, and oh, I love doing chakra work and, and mindset stuff. Um, so I think there was a lot of overlap there. So I had started this Canary project. I honestly I don't really remember 5, 6 years ago.
Hmm.
And you know, it was something that was like a passion project of mine, but I always wanted it to be a larger community and like bring in
Right.
people to collaborate with. But the idea about around it is the fact that it's called a canary in the first place is around that metaphor of a canary in a coal mine, which is the commonality that I found among all my patients and all
Yeah.
my clients, is that they were these really sensitive people who picked up on a lot in their
Mm,
environment, in their own bodies. Just kind of like how I mentioned about my personal story. I was like, I knew there was something
right.
off, and I just was looking for the answer. And that's kind of this that metaphor. I mean, if people aren't familiar, canaries were used in the mining industry, like at the turn of the century. They didn't have the technology that we have now, where you can measure air quality. So they would take this beautiful little songbird, the canary, and they would put it in a cage and they would take it down into the mines with them, like as they were coal mining, which is, you know, kind of terrible and incredibly sad
Horrible.
because because those birds, you know, are meant to be songbirds and they have a different purpose in the ecosystem. But because they're so sensitive to changes in toxicity and air quality, they were instrumental for the coal miners to know how healthy the environment of the coal mine was. So the thing was, you know, toxins that affect the canary are going to affect it much like stronger and first before it affects the humans who were doing the coal
Hmm.
mining. So that metaphor is like the canary is the first to feel it, and it's the first to get sick or die in
Yeah.
that cage in the mines. And then when that happened, the coal miners would be like, "Oh man, this is a bad situation. We got to get out
Right.
before it starts affecting us." So that's the metaphor. Some people are familiar with it, some people aren't, but that's the idea of kind of this whole group of sensitive people that I keep
Yeah.
meeting in my practice, or friends that I meet that I'm just like, we're kindred spirits. And I see that there's this level of sensitivity to
Mm-hmm.
our internal bodily experience, our emotional experiences, the energy around us, the environments, the toxins. So I really wanted to take that and emphasize the beauty and the superpower of being a sensitive person, because if you're a sensitive person and you're in a very toxic environment, you're going to feel like there's something wrong with you. Like
Yep.
you're going to be suffering, you're going to be in pain, you're going to be having symptoms, but you're going to say, what's wrong with me? Because like the humans around you or whatnot, they
Totally.
seem to be functioning fine. But that's kind of the whole point. It's like there was nothing wrong with the canary. The canary was just not in an environment that would help the canary thrive where it was meant to
Right.
be. So the idea of this project was less about focusing on the diagnosis or the disease or, the problems that we're having, like autoimmunity or chronic fatigue or whatnot, but
Mm-hmm.
focusing on the fact that we're these beautiful, sensitive, in tune empaths who have this superpower, this ability
Yeah.
to feel things. And when we're able to shift our mindset that way and understand that we have a strength and the environment is not suited for us, then we can learn how to build an environment or set boundaries that actually let us shine as the canaries.
I love it. I love it so much. When I first heard about it, I was like, I feel like this speaks to me in so many different ways because I definitely am a sensitive person. I'm a sensitive soul. I feel like a lot of people in the thyroid autoimmune community are. Most of us are very sensitive souls.
Mm-hmm.
So hearing and seeing this group and this project that you had, I was like, oh, I feel like I belong already. Like this is so wonderful. And then you asked me to be a part of it in like a bigger way
Yeah, and
when I
again,
am
I
doing
like I
now.
was saying, I just kept seeing all the work you were doing. And I was like, this is all the same work that I'm doing in the canary community. And the idea is that we want to flock together and we want to have those strength in our understanding of being able to relate to each other. And
Mm-hmm.
because it isn't really the mainstream experience, if
No,
I
not at
were
all.
to, and I think that that's part of the reason why a lot of canary people become kind of introverted or isolated. It's not that they
Mm-hmm.
don't love connecting with other people, but I think a lot of times sensitive people feel misunderstood.
Yep.
And, I mean, I know for me, it's like if I were to just go out and do mainstream things, like the restaurants that I could eat at, are really difficult for me. It's like I have to navigate the foods that might
Totally.
make me feel that. Or even just like being out like in certain environments, it's like sometimes it's just too loud or it's too busy and I want
Oh
more
yeah.
of a personal intimate connection with the people that I'm with. So I just feel like a lot of things in our culture or our society aren't really set up to help canary sensitive people
Mm-hmm.
thrive.
Yeah, you
And
and I
then
both being Persians, coming from a loud Iranian culture, household. I don't know. And I
yeah,
love it, but
so
it's too, it's a lot. It's a lot. So I tend to retreat a lot, but
yeah, and I think that there's,
sensitive communities.
this incredible power in having that quiet time and that introspection.
Absolutely.
But I also think people can be introverted or kind of more reserved or have like crave more intimacy in their
Mm-hmm.
interactions and still be together, like have a community around
Totally.
that. So that's a lot of where the push behind the community aspect of the canary comes from, or the
Mm-hmm.
collaboration aspect, because I think it's not about this authoritarian thing or follow this leader. It's more about we're a flock of canaries, and when we come together, we can have that shared experience of what it's like to live with this sensitivity and also support each other and
Mm-hmm.
understanding that it's a superpower. And sometimes if we get
Definitely.
down on ourselves about that, um, it's helpful to have people who have similar experience.
Yeah.
As much as our partners or our families or our loved ones
Mm-hmm.
really accept and love us for who we are, it's different if they don't have that intense sensitivity in their own body or in their
Absolutely.
emotional space. So, yeah, I think that idea of being around other canaries is a really powerful, like healing modality in and of itself, is just to have that
Totally.
community.
Totally. I know. I love being a part of it. So for anybody interested, if this is speaking to you, if you think that you're a sensitive soul, that you're looking and seeking a community where you can connect with other people that get it, that understand you, and you can connect in a way that is sensitive and is gentle and soft, and learn so much about mind body health, which obviously Natasha and I are both very passionate about, come and join the Canary Club.
Yeah.
So we just started this, it's been like 3 weeks, I think, since we
so we
launched it.
July 1st. We were working all of June around it. So we started collaborating a couple months ago and just brainstorming about all our different skills and resources. And then I think July we announced the opening of it, and we have this private community, and it has like recorded videos from Neeyaz and I. It has recipes, and it has like a private forum. And we kind of very intentionally took this off of Facebook and social media for a lot of reasons, because you never know what direction those are going to take. It's not really like private community, you never know when things are information's available. So we wanted to host the community ourselves on our private servers. So it's there. And also the thing that I actually think is really valuable about having it off of social media is it helps with that intimacy of kind of clearing out the distractions. Because, we're all scrolling social media way too much these days.
Way too much.
It's hard to kind of focus in on something that is actually rejuvenating and healing for you. So, yeah, I mean, this month Neeyaz has this amazing recipe that she put up there. We're doing like some of our favorite things, like Oprah's favorite things, like our favorite stuff that we use, like household things, like our pots and pans and our beauty products and things that, as sensitive people, we've like tried the the gamut of different things and found stuff that works for us and stayed away from stuff that doesn't work. So we kind of shortcutting all that for the Canaries. And then, there's just kind of like forums, and there's groups, and there's quizzes for people to take, and a live monthly call. So it's fun. It's just like a bunch of lovely, sensitive souls getting together.
Definitely. And you don't have to have any thyroid disease, disorder, ailment, anything. It's for anyone. Anybody who thinks that they can identify as a sensitive person, which I think everyone can, almost everyone can. So
at least the people who are following our work can identify.
Definitely. So definitely come and join. It's $5 right now to join per month for life, like as long as this is around, as long as you and I are around to run it.
We're doing this early bird promotion, because we really want to get this community out to as many people as possible. I mean, I think everybody who follows our work know that you and I work privately with people. We do virtual coaching, we work one-on-one, and that's really lovely in and of itself. And those have its benefits where you can really connect with that person and check in. But there's also that benefit of connecting with other people and a larger story. So because neither Neeyaz or I had, really worked on this like mass scale where we could get lots of people in, it was like, okay, well, we're going to have this early bird promotion and get as many people able to access this as possible.
Yeah. And we also wanted to make it really accessible for anybody who's also looking for something but maybe can't afford one-on-one private services, which is totally fine, but this gives you a taste of that and more. So definitely.
Well, it's pretty cool because Neeyaz and I have been, like, the reason we started collaborating is because we...
Oh, great. Mike.
Yes. Good to hear. We have both, so we both are really, we have a background in like art and design and all that stuff. We like get really excited about that stuff. So we've created a lot of our own handouts and resources and quizzes and recipes and stuff like that that we use as needed with people that we work with, private clients, those sort of things. But when we kind of started collaborating behind the scenes, we were like, well, let's just put together all of the resources we've ever made and organize them and put them into chapters and topics and subjects, and then do a monthly theme. So this month's theme, we covered Thyroid 101 and beyond. So we have like the best essential oils for thyroid, the best nutrients,
the best supplements, all
superfoods, like the different yoga moves and things like that, like all of the things we have around that topic. And then we're just going to cover all kinds of things. Like we're going to cover detox, we're going to cover relationships, we're going to cover like
Gut
healthy house and
health,
home.
shop for wellness, yeah, clean home, like all the things,
So
everything.
yeah, so even though it's we're doing this early bird promo and we're creating this very accessible, anybody can afford and access this information. It's like taken from our years and years of private client work and
Mm-hmm.
kind of like the juiciest stuff, and we're just organizing it. So we have kind of a big library of it. But
Yay.
yeah, also if you guys have like topics that you love, it's very community driven.
Yes.
So we always have questionnaires from our community members to see what they're dealing with, what they're interested in, and we kind of focus the topics around that. So right now we're formulating next month's topics if you guys have
Yes.
suggestions.
Let us know.
Yeah, and if you have questions too, you can leave it in the comments,
Yes, please do.
whether in the live or in the replay of this, and we will
We'll
both get
happy
to
to
you because we're
answer.
yeah. So yeah,
Yay.
I mean, do you have things that I've left out about this collaboration, this project that we're doing?
No. No, I mean, I think you hit it all on the head. And we had our group call on, what was it, Tuesday? I don't even know what day it is
Yeah,
anymore.
it was
Our call was
Tuesday.
on Tuesday. It was wonderful. We planned for an hour. We went on for an extra hour
Yeah,
because there's
yeah, we
just so
made
much
this.
good stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we made a big like visual presentation slide that we made available to all the members too. So it
Yeah,
was kind of like we just pulled all of our resources for thyroid and put
everything
it
in.
all in one
It
big
was
slide
great.
deck.
So much more to come. I'm so excited.
Yeah,
Yay.
so yeah, what about you? Like what are you most excited about in the Canary Project, or this the ways that you've been
Mm. I
involved?
honestly have really loved working with you, like one-on-one, having that time together working
That's
with
been
you,
awesome.
because it's been so much fun to have somebody else to bounce these thoughts and ideas from. And you also, you create such a safe space for me to be able to bounce these ideas off of, and it's not coming from a place of judgment or shame. It's like I can say something and it can make absolutely no sense, but somehow you understand it, and then you just like say it in a way that makes sense. I'm like, that's exactly what I meant.
Thank
So
you. I
it's been,
appreciate that.
no,
I
I
think
mean it.
that
It's been like really special being able to have that time. And I also have never been one to like sit and work on something for 4 or 5 hours at a time, like our work sessions are. But somehow, like, I'm able to do it with you, but we get so much done. And it's also so much fun, and it's light, and it's
yeah.
comfortable. And so it's just been a really seamless, easy partnership. So I'm
Yeah,
very grateful
totally.
to it.
I feel the same way. And actually, when we started this process of Neeyaz and I collaborating together, I don't know if she did this, but I kind of put her through my patient initiation process where I was like, take this personality quiz and take this like. So she took all these quizzes that I always do with my clients, and we're doing in the club too. And then we got on a big long call, and we were just like, let's compare our personality types, and let's talk about our strengths, and let's talk about our weaknesses. And I think that that is, I mean, I just love doing that.
It
So
was so
it's,
fun. Formal setting with anyone before. Now I'm like want to send this quiz to all my friends and be like, are
yes,
we compatible?
yeah, it's really awesome though, because I think when you really start to explore these kind of self-assessment
Mhm.
processes and you go through it with curiosity, you learn a lot about yourself, but you also learn how to build stronger relationships with people. So
Mhm.
when I learn about my different personality types, the way I process information, the way I learn things, and then I learn how my partner or my parents do that, or my friends or my coworkers
Right.
do that, and I kind of get a sense of like, oh, this is just their strength, or this is something that's a little more difficult for them. I can pick up that because it's really easy for me. I think
Yeah.
it makes like relationships a lot more genuine. There's a lot more of people willingly
Totally.
doing what they love, not just
Mhm.
because they feel like they should or out of obligation.
Exactly.
So it creates, like, for me, it just creates a lot of authenticity. So yeah, we kind
Definitely.
of went through that process, and we did these like we took our quizzes and our assessments and got our results ourselves, and then we would just have these long like workshop Zoom calls like virtually where we
Yeah.
would just like, it was fun though because it's
We
like
basically like went on a couple dates before we committed to this. It's like,
and I
what are
like
your weaknesses?
secretly
What do
made
you
you
like to do? Yeah.
like fill out assessments on the dates.
Exactly. I mean, it
But
was
I
great.
mean,
I learned a lot about myself in those quizzes. So it was
yeah, exactly. And then
wonderful.
you learn
Yeah.
kind of like where to fit in. So my point of bringing up that dating process we went through was we found out that we're actually, even though we have a lot of similarities, we have a lot of like kind of opposite qualities that I think balance our workflow out, but I think also balance the club, the Canary Club, out a lot, in just the different energies, the different strengths that we both come in and like fill in the space. So I think, yeah, that's been super awesome. And I think that that's something that is particularly valuable to the members in the club.
Totally.
Like, especially like, you know, it's just getting different perspectives. It's getting people who have a different way of seeing or processing things. So it's cool because when we put the resources together too, it's, you know, we're doing it for different types of learners and different types of personality types. So people who want to watch the videos or they just want to read the handouts, there's all the different resources there for kind of what your style is. Like if you want to join us live, we have a lot of live sessions. If you don't, you want to just on your free time, browse the portal. It's all there 24 hours a day. So
yeah, it's great. I'm so excited. So if anyone's interested in joining, I'll put the bit.ly link on the comment section of this video or the caption part of it, but it's also in both of our bios. So you can always just go in there and sign up.
And you can always like DM us if you have questions or you're not sure. I've had some people ask like if it's good for international people, and definitely all this stuff it's more educational and stuff that we're teaching you to do at home or we connect virtually over. There's very little stuff that like you have to be in a specific location to have any access to. And it's just open to anybody who feels like a sensitive soul.
So come and join. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for jumping on here. I'm sure that my community has found so much value in this. And definitely.
And thank you so much for jumping into the Canary Club.
Oh my gosh,
and
of course.
helping lead the way with that, because I think that'll be something that I'm really excited to just work towards for years and just have it grow and bring in more collaborators. So I think we're just growing our flock.
That's right. We're growing our flock. I love it. Yay. Well, thank you so much. I'm probably going to talk to you in like 5 seconds. But anybody else, I will include Natasha and the Canaries Instagram. So please go give them a follow, say hello, and hopefully we'll see you all in the Canary Club.
Yeah.
Yay. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.